Well, the former public protector Thuli Madonsela's report on state capture reads, many people say, like a recommendation of investigations yet to be conducted. The report is thin on concrete findings and rich on what could have been if certain findings were made. The use of cell phone records in the probe is questionable. There's little mention of the main players' cell phone records and how they could be placed together at alleged meetings. Some implicated persons are also vaguely placed in the vicinity of the Gupta household, where meetings are said to have taken place. Some dates indicate that events could have taken place way after the report is finalised. This raises questions about the haste in completing the report and if Madonsela's legacy could become a victim of her ambition. Let's take a look at a number of the times some words reflected conjecture and not conclusion in the report. The word may was used 175 times, alleged used 96 times, if 361 times, appeared used 78 times, conclude used 80 times, implicated 12 times, and interestingly, conclusively is only used once. Well, the observations made by the former public protector leads to an impression that no conclusive proof against the Guptas have been ascertained. The public protector looks to be worried about possible corruption and not anything real. The observation seems to reflect that the former public protector, if not sure, is that Mcebisi Jonas's claims are true. It begs a question whether her suspicions are based on a hunch and not facts. In her observation, Madonsela mentions that the Guptas may have been privy to information that solely belonged to the executive. But there's no proof mentioned which says that the Guptas are privy to information on a cabinet reshuffle. The report also mentions that in 8 months, Eskom CEO Brian Molefe paid 19 visits and made 44 calls to AJ Gupta. Now the Guptas and Molefe have often acknowledged their friendship and business publicly. And also, one would ask how a mere friendship could be deduced as illegal. The third observation, that Eskom's prepayment to Tegeta was only to help Tegeta buy Optimum shares, is also confusing. This in view of Treasury and other regulatory authorities already given clearance to the prepayment deal.
My reading and my initial view, I do not intend to advise the clients to take legal action against the consequences of the report. But what we will do, and that is what we've promised all along, what we will do is we will have our evidence, our documents, our facts in order, so that when we now at last called to a judge, and we are happy that there's a judge because the judge understands the law, we will be able to give our version and then a judge can take a decision on that. Funding must now be made available by Treasury. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how that's going to pan out. But then, in that event, a judge must be nominated and appointed. I don't know how long that is going to take. That judge will then have to appoint a team to assist him. I don't know how long that is going to take. That team must then familiarize themselves with the report, not the report, the bundle of evidence prepared by Advocate Madonsela. You must read the conclusion carefully. It says that the judge must then consider all the facts, not only what is in her report, also the information that she obtained and collated over a period of 6 or 7 months. I think the 180-day period is a pipe dream. I don't think that will happen. If you read that report, you will find that not one of the Gupta brothers was called by way of subpoena to give their version. There was a subpoena for one of the Oak Bay directors. That was cancelled before he got the opportunity to speak one single word. So the best case scenario for a charge against Oak Bay or Tegeta or the Guptas, you'll find in that bundle. But what you won't find in that bundle is their defense and their response thereto. And I think it's unfair to portray that report as a report of a balanced version. That's not what it is. That is only the bundle the judge will look at to determine who must answer thereto.
Let's take a closer look at what is at the heart of the state capture report. 355 pages, numerous dubious situations where Zuma and members of his executive acted in a questionable manner. The report has made many observations on the president. It says Zuma may have breached executive ethics code. The president has exposed himself to risk of a conflict of interest. She goes on to say that the president may have acted in a way that is inconsistent with his position. He may have improperly benefited any other person, and the president may have improperly interfered in between the banks and Gupta-owned companies. Thuli Madonsela's report has also made a number of observations against the Gupta family. Let's take a look at what's in the report. The report says that the president used the Guptas as a proxy to hire ministers for illicit financial gains, but in the report seems to be missing out on call details pertaining to meetings between the Zumas and the Guptas. The report also alleges that the president helped the Guptas appointing board members at SOEs for preferential treatment. But what's interesting is that the entire report, there seems to be no evidence of the Guptas appointing board members for any SOE. In fact, the former public protector says Eskom board was improperly appointed, but doesn't indicate any role of the Gupta family. Well, the former public protectors mentioned that the person in the position of authority did not respond. It remains to be seen whom is the former public protector referring to in the case of Deputy Finance Minister Nkabisi Jonas. Is she referring to Jonas's immediate boss and the then Finance Minister Nhlanhla Nene? Or is she referring to Pravin Gordhan, who was the Finance Minister when Jonas came out with his claims earlier this year? Or even was it the President, who Madonsela is referring to as a person in a position of authority? Well, the State Capture report suggests that Cooperative Governance Minister Desmond Ryan visited the Gupta house 7 times, but there's no concrete proof of such visits. Van Rooyen is alleged to have had tea with the Guptas on the eve of his appointment as the Finance Minister, but cell phone records place him in the Saxonwold area. The Public Protector's report says that the coincidence of the minister being in the area is that at that time is worrying. Madonsela also says it was strange that Van Rooyen was in Joburg when he was supposed to be in Parliament in Cape Town. Van Rooyen's guilt is essentially established on probabilities, making the state capture theory hard to believe. Well, 7 visits to Saxonwold, no proof that these were visits to the Gupta's home, presence at Saxonwold on the eve of his appointment as Minister of Finance, absence from Cape Town on 8th of December when Parliament was in session. Can presence at Saxonwold area be equated with being at Gupta House? Even if Van Rooyen visited Gupta's, can it prove wrongdoing? And can MP's anomalous absence from Cape Town prove ministry fixing? Report doesn't tell us if any of the Guptas were also traced to Saxonwold when Van Rooyen is seen in the area.